Welcome back to another dev blog. And yeah, let's just dive right in, shall we? So I don't know 100% for sure if I mentioned this in the previous video. We have a markets and lumberjack course in the back wall of the school here. The school that may or may not be destroyed shortly, I don't know. But yeah, that's there. Just in case you're trying to learn about those things. New items. This was already covered last week. I tweaked the model a little bit. It's a little taller. And it's fixed. This button. We now can do the floral patterned glass here using purple dye. That was broken in the last video. Oops, my bad. Nothing changed here. This is all still the same, all boring. This actually changed, but I didn't change anything here. So I should actually probably fix that right now while I'm thinking about it. So I changed the armor somewhat because things didn't work. So Prismarine now gives you 4 oxygen regen. Okay. Oh, I can't use Gnomes pad. That's right. There we go. That's fixed. You might be wondering, wow, 4 oxygen. That's crazy. Yeah, well, except you now lose. It's super hacky. I can't imagine that that's how it's actually supposed to be done, but I will demo that in a while. Well, actually, I'll keep that when we get to someplace where there's water where I can demo it. But this is the new big thing. Ooh, very fancy, very fashion. Look at this. It's so cool looking. It's a woodworking bench. If you couldn't tell, we got, a couple different kinds of woods. We got a plane here, a square, a wooden mallet, some chisels. We can do all kinds of cool stuff. And what better way to show than to look at the guide? So currently there's not a whole lot of things we can really do. We can make a directional signpost. We can do a trading sign. This needs a different name, but it's just called a signpost right now. That's not what it really is, though. And then we have 2 different stools. So I am going to actually, because I'm lazy like this, grab these. So I'm creating a new mod called furniture that'll have the furniture, because that's the way I roll. So currently there is this short stool, and this is a taller stool. This would be like for sitting in a hall or a bar at a table. And yes, you can sit on them. Woohoo, cool. That I kind of lucked out, and I was able to just use the sit function from Xdecor. So that was super easy. I didn't have to write any code other than like just the smallest of bits to connect. Unfortunately, there is still an error. I need to look at this. When you get off of a chair, or I believe out of bed, actually, your physics overrides from your armor are ignored. So I got to see if there's some way I can hack that to work. Nothing changed here. All the same things as before. The gnomes I did change, so they should die in the dark now, which they didn't in the past. And that caused little issues. We can make this directional sign. It always points to the right. So if you want a sign that points to the left, you just have to look at it backwards, deal with it. I don't think I'm making another one that's the other side, but you can treat them like signs, so you can write things on them, and then it points which direction. So that's kind of cool, They break a lot faster if you use an axe, but I don't have an axe because I'm too cool to have an axe. And then this little bit, I don't know where's a good place to show this. We'll just shove it on the wall here because why not? So this is my own. That is completely my own. And this is 50% stolen. So I made the model and the textures and stuff, but this part of it I kind of just ripped straight from another mod. So we could do like, boom, I forget what it's called, an item sign or something. So you can put most any item on it just by throwing it here. Some things are not supported. Oh, that actually looks kind of cool. The mesh evidently is. I don't wonder if I can put the sign on the sign. That would be crazy. It's signception. What if I could put the sign on the sign on the sign? Yeah, you can't. But so if you have like a shop, you know, you made yourself a little pub or whatever, you can do that. Of course, you can also use these, and this is gonna look really stupid because it won't place right, and I'll have to try to use the screwdriver, and yeah. But you can also do, say you have a, oh, of course, I would pick an item that falls. That was super helpful. Let's try a stair that maybe doesn't. Maybe does dry stack not? I don't know. Okay, perfect. Hey, it even placed the right direction. Nice. So you can do things like this as well. If you want to have your sign going that way on the face of your building, and if you have like an awning, that's what I was looking for. Or you can do it that way. It is at the center of the node, so whatever your awning is should technically be slightly more than the halfway point, or the rope will stick out a little bit, because the rope does actually go above itself, because the hanger here for it is a little higher than the bottom of that node space. I just thought it looked better aesthetically, you know, and so that's the way I chose to do it, because that's the way I roll. So that is that. I think that's, take a quick look here. Oh, I got the saw here. So 2 new materials were added to the saw upon request. I believe this and I believe this. Let's see. Yep, Prismarine can be cut, and the burnt wood planks can be cut. And with that change, the burnt wood also is no longer a falling node, so it can be placed in the air and it won't collapse. It used to be a falling node because the idea was people's houses could burn down and it would actually like all collapse and stuff. But yeah, that's not the case anymore. So you don't have to worry about that. The dirt. Let's talk about dirt real quick. So if you have, you know, some dirt here. Oh, I don't want this. If you have some dirt, that's actually not what I want. Some dry dirt. You can cook normal dirt into dry dirt. Cool. And then, and I don't really know what weird sorcery happens here, but if you cook dry dirt, it turns into scorched dirt, and it looks like burnt normal dirt instead of burnt dry dirt. I guess I really didn't think this through too much as far as the progression went. I didn't look at the textures. I just wrote the code and I was like, well, that makes sense. Dirt to dry dirt to scorched dirt. But that really looks horrible, honestly. I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter, but. Oh, and with that, there's also. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's pushed through to the server yet. So you can't see that, but not to worry, I can still demo it. Somebody was asking, I don't remember who, so I won't say any names. You can craft dirt with dry grass. You can craft dirt with normal grass. And you can even do, let's see here, is it dry dirt with dry grass? Yeah, so you can craft all of those different variants. Of course, that doesn't work because that doesn't exist. You can also do a snowball on top of dirt to get dirt with snow. So those are all available now. So if you want to make whatever colored dirt you can, it does literally turn into the exact same normal node. So when you dig it, you will still just get the dirt. The grass will spread, all of that good stuff. So yeah, but that is available now. We got some more doors. This was at the request of Lady K. I remember this one. So there is a handful of extra doors available now. Currently, these are just made in the crafting grid, but they will be available maybe by the time this video goes live in the woodworking bench. I'm going to be adding a lot more things to this, some of which will still be craftable in the normal crafting space, but they may be less expensive to do in the workbench. I believe that's that's mostly it for that. There is... Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention this. So I changed up spawn a little bit of the old spawn, the Nathan S21 spawn, the original spawn. So we now have the Glazer Station, Crystal Workshop, Anvil, and the Woodworking Station here. And there are 4 of them available. And if you go downstairs, there's still the stuff down here. I will mention this again. These are going away. Please remove your items from them. They will be removed in March, and you will not be compensated for any items you have in them. So please remove it from them and put your items into these wagons. Or you can get yourself a shop in the mall that was built, I think, mostly by Lady K and Emerald. I don't know how much Silicone Penguin helped with. Yeah, those are the 3 people that had access to it. It's not completely finished yet, but it is looking quite nice. Oh, this is Emerald's. Does Emerald have anything in here? No, not yet. I also helped a smidge. I didn't build anything, don't worry. I gave them lots and lots of these lamps, and some gold. And I think that was it that I gave them, honestly. Oh no, I gave them some light bulbs too. So like to craft these lamps, what are they called? I think it's a lantern, yeah. So to craft the lantern, you need this light bulb, which is made like this. I gave them a bunch of these light bulbs so they could make other things that use it if they wanted to for lighting around the mall. But you know, I have creative, so that doesn't really even count because I just literally grabbed it all out of inventory. You know, so you know, which kind of doesn't count for anything. Temporary shop might be moved to mall and finished. All right. So we've got that. Let's see. Blah blah blah. The gnomes. Somebody discovered. I think Wally discovered them. There was like a gnome convention someplace, and there was just a ton of them, and there shouldn't have been. So gnomes now take damage in the dark. And I don't want to give away too many secrets, but I'll just say this. If it's below, I think if the light level is below 8, so they will take damage, and they will probably die overnight. So, yeah, just keep that in mind for whatever it's worth. If it's brighter than light level of 8, gnomes will be okay. Do with that information what you will, but I just wanted to let you know in case somebody discovered secrets. They're not broken. Whatever you were doing still works. Just, you know, if it's below light level 8, they will take damage. That's all I'm going to say. You do with that information what you will. And lastly, this is going to be a shorter one because I was spending a lot of time creating this model and then doing the textures, which I think turned out great. I'm actually seriously considering, like very seriously considering, going back and changing the textures on these 2 at least. This I might leave alone. I might change the bucket, honestly, because that's kind of meh. But like the wooden log here and this looks good. This bucket's kind of meh, so I might change that. These are pretty meh. I'm probably going to change them. I was using the textures from within Mindtest, of course, because why wouldn't you? But I've got like gajillions, well, probably not gajillions, but I have a lot of photos of wood and stuff that I took for using as textures and, and doing 3D stuff. So I may as well use them, and this just looks nicer in my opinion than this. Like this is kind of jank. Also, these are made at a 32 pixel resolution, which doesn't really mean anything to anybody probably, but like these chisel handles are technically, they're 2 pixels by 2 pixels, but technically that's 1/16 by 1/16 of a node. These textures are also 32 pixel textures, so I can't really demonstrate that too well right here. But yeah, so these are technically 2 pixels per 16th of a node, and these are 1 pixel per 16th of a node, I believe. So if you were to count the pixels going across on this tabletop, there should be 16. Same on this. Actually, might be a little under because this might not be the full width of a node. No, it is. So that should be 16 pixels there, and whereas this is 32. So I'm probably going to change these to go to high resolution because it looks nicer, you know? So that's that. These are now all available as locked variants. I don't know if anybody's tested those. I'm hoping I did it right. I couldn't really test it too well in single player, of course. But you'll see there's 2 of all of them in inventory. The oh, there we go. I was hoping I didn't break it. So you still craft them the exact same way you used to. Nothing changed there. And you're still crafting the unlocked version. Nothing changed there. But you can now swap between a locked and an unlocked. So you just throw the normal station into the crafting grid. You pull out the locked one. You throw the locked one back in any space, doesn't matter, and you get an unlocked one. So if you now have, you want to put these in a house someplace and you don't want people to be able to steal your inventory, because basically if it's locked, it means nobody can pull items out of the inventories on it. So basically they can't use it. I think they can still open it and look at the stuff and probably pull up the guide and whatever, but they can't pull out your inventory. So that was a requested feature by several people, so it's added now. And I almost forgot about the water thing, so let's run over to the water here. I really need a better lake to do these demos, and this is so tiny. All right, so I've got my admin crown. We'll take that off. Please note, my cursor's visible. Good. So notice that you have 40 breath. I had to increase it a lot because you can't use floating point values. Would that be what is considered decimal points? It has to be whole numbers. So with my admin crown, I got oxygen regen of 5. Ooh. And that's theoretically 5 oxygen every second, I believe. With the full Prismarine suit, you get oxygen regen of 4, which should be enough to keep you from running out of air. Yeah, see, there we go. I had to do some really hacky stuff to make this work. It's probably not optimal, but it is working. So now, if you wear less than a full suit of the Prismarine, you should still end up losing breath, but you can actually... How do I want to phrase this? With the old one, every single piece now gives you 1. And before, I think it was the chest plate and the leggings gave you 1, and the helmet and the diamond. No, actually, originally it was like 0.4 and 0.6 or something. So you get the full 2 with the full set. But because it was decimals, if you didn't have a value more than 1, it didn't do anything. Which, not optimal, because then your armor's... It's still taking wear, but it's not doing you anything. So this way, at least... With 3 pieces, you more or less can stay underwater for a very long time. And when you go down to 2 pieces, you can still stay underwater for a decent length of time. And of course, with no armor, you'll notice here 24, 19, 14. Actually, it looks like we're losing 5. I thought we lost 4 breath a second. Or however often this runs. Well, whatever the case, it was changed. The only reason it was changed was so this would work. Theoretically, you'll drown just as quickly now as you would before because the stuff was changed, so it should work that way. But, yeah, that's that. And wow, I am incredibly slow with this. Why would anybody want this kind of armor? A fire break? Somebody built a fire break? Oh, but I can still run super fast. That's cool. Fire break. You planning on burning something here? Hey, gnome, out of my way. Hey, look, the gnomes are actually, they're actually changing the scorched dirt back to normal dirt. Way to go, guys. I bet I can't make this jump. Oh, man, this is lame. Why do people use anything but admin crowns? Oh, that's right, because they can't get admin crowns. Woohoo! So much better. I believe that is it for the changes this week. think of anything else. Looking at the news here. Blah, blah, blah. The locked stations, the recipes, the burnt wood, blah, blah, blah. That stuff was covered in the previous. Yeah, so that is it for this week's changes. I will just leave us off with a nice aerial view of the mall here. It's not completed yet. Once it is completed, it's kind of unfortunate, but the only way for this to work is I'm going to have to manually create an area for each person within their shop so then they can do stuff in their shop. That's kind of the only way. It kind of stinks, but I don't know of any better option. So yeah, if you want to shop in there, Lady K and Emerald are the people to talk to, and they can get you squared up with the location. I don't know if there's any specifics for where any shops go or anything, and then they'll have to hit me up, and I will put an area in for you. So, and it won't cost you anything. Is it free shop? Of course, keep in mind that shops in here can only be purchased from by actually visiting this mall itself, whereas anything you sell in the marketplaces here can't be purchased from anybody from anywhere that one of these markets are. So, pros and cons. Of course, you can only sell things for coins in these markets, whereas these is it Fancy Vend or Smart Shop? I don't remember which. Whichever one it is, you can do different things. You're basically doing a trade. I mean, if you really want to get technical, every time you buy something, you're just trading money for whatever you're buying in real life. Like when you go to a store, you're trading your paper money for an actual product. So that's kind of a bad analogy to make. But this mall, you're not necessarily using coins as your base. You still could if you want, but you can do anything else too. So you could sell coal for apples if you wanted. Or you could sell grass for diamonds. You know, whatever you want to do within reason, you can do here. So that'll be the difference to that. And that covers everything. So thanks for watching. Join the server, join the fun. Links in the video description. As always, again, the hats, because it just needs to be a thing for this series, evidently. And yeah, that's it. I will see you guys next time.